You owe it to yourself to start forgiving yourself, okay? Because one thing that people, myself included, we waste a lot of time self-loathing, being upset with ourselves for a mistake that we made however long ago. But recognizing the fact that you made a mistake or that something did not work out is proof that you've grown. It's literal proof that shows that you are no longer the same being that you once were, and now you know enough not to do that thing again. And instead of wasting time being mad at yourself for doing something, or upset with yourself, or ashamed of yourself, or embarrassed of yourself, you can look at yourself with pride and say, well, you know what? I won't do that again. I learned that that's not the right thing to do. I won't do that again. And that is a win. That is a form of success. We have been taught and beat down in some ways that when you mess up, something bad's gonna happen. That's wrong with you. And some people were even brutalized or attacked in their home for doing the wrong thing. So there's a real legit fear of making mistakes. But you have to make mistakes in order to live, in order to learn, in order to grow. Mistakes are a part of it. Mistakes come with the territory. And some of us have so much fear, and not including me, I'm just saying us. But some of us have so much, well, I do have fear of success. I do have fear of success as well. Because sometimes when you have certain experiences, it makes it more challenging to move forward. But everybody does stuff. Everybody does stuff that they're not proud of. And truthfully, if you don't have anything in your life that you've done that you're not proud of, were you really living? Were you really experiencing this experience? And sometimes people are upset and ashamed of things that they have no control over. If you're upset or you feel a type of way because your finances aren't you're not super rich, do you have a loving home? Do you have a good relationship with yourself? Because for real, that's what matters. Because what we're learning in this day and age really is that just because you might have financial stuff doesn't mean that you have what's inside. I mean, look at Diddy and Cassie. I'm not going to go into that, but look at that situation. There are so many situations that we are learning. The more the veil is being lifted and the more truth is coming out, that a lot of this stuff is a facade. We have been sold a false dream. We have been sold a false narrative. There are people who, and I saw in this meditation I had this one time where I was in a small fish bowl. I was a fish in a bowl, and it was like crowded. So I just wanted to get into another bowl, but there was like a fun bowl. It was a good bowl. It wasn't too large. It wasn't too extravagant. It was just very, very nice. It wasn't even a bowl. It was a tank. It was a square tank with black siding, and it was very, very colorful. Then I was a fish in a large bowl. It was the biggest, beautiful bowl, and I was the only fish in the bowl, and I was miserable as that fish. And then I panned out, and I was now looking at the fish in the bowl. And from that, it showed me, and then I had a similar experience. It showed me that no amount of money is going to change what's inside. Now, in the physical, in this realm we exist in, is money important? Absolutely. Let's be clear. Let's be very clear. But we have to be able to differentiate between like the outside and the inside. Because the inside, when the inside is a certain way, the outside just feels a different way in general. And so you receive that. But when your inside is effed up because of whatever happened before, you will never be okay. And that's the truth. And a lot of us are walking around with unhealed wounds from childhood and not addressing it. And so busy into keeping up with the Joneses with our cups and things, these dang on Stanley cups. If you're so busy in that, I saw some child, these are water bottles. Some girl apparently got bullied in school because she had the Walmart version of the cup. It's like, it's a freaking cup. But when we're so traumatized and broken within, then we do place a lot more value on the outside because you want people to perceive you a certain way. You're trying to uphold a certain perception. You want people to view you in this kind of way. So you put on this kind of facade, you put on this kind of look. But ultimately what happens is you get lost in the sauce because there is no amount of material objects or material good that can heal within what's inside. Now, does having a lot of material goods assist you in that healing process? It absolutely can, because you'll have more time, you'll have more freedom to do stuff. You'll have more time. You'll not necessarily be at work. You'll not necessarily be you'll have less response, a certain level of less responsibility or less financial worry and stress, so that you do have more time to focus on other things. However, it has to be more to that if we're seeing that people are not still satisfied or not happy. But we see these other beings, these other people who don't even have electricity, who are living in the forest, are very, very happy. But they have to find their food. They're doing stuff all day long and are happy. Some of them are not happy, just like some people here are not happy. And some people here are happy. It's about putting yourself where you need to be so that you can experience what you want to experience in the now currently. Because what we're looking for is not outside. It's not out there. You're not going to find it out there. You're going to find it in here. You will be able to appreciate it out there. And once you locate it within self, it's going to present itself to you out there. But what I have also noticed and am learning and am evolving to the point of is that a lot of stuff that we are chasing is not meant for us. If it's running from you, it's not for you. But the things that are calling, and you have to get to a healing enough point. We have to get to a healing enough point that we can recognize what the feeling of X, Y, and Z is. For me, the feeling that I associate with a piece is the feeling of painting, the feeling of creating a piece of art, the feeling of creating art, period, is what type of feeling that I associate the feeling that I want to experience. Totally. That's my version of peace, is the feeling that I get when I paint. There's no other feeling like that. Also, the feeling that I get is another similar amazing feeling, is a feeling that I get when I play Roblox with one of my sisters. All of them I love to play Roblox with, but there's one in particular, like, she'll play, even if she doesn't want to play the games with me, she'll play the games with me. The ones that I want to play, like Fashion Famous. Because for me, Roblox is a way that I bond with the younger people that I love, because they like to play Roblox. So I like to play Roblox, and I like to play Roblox specifically with them. But there's no feeling like playing Roblox with my other siblings as well. There's no similar feeling to that. Or another one, doing something nice for the people that I love. There's no other feeling like that. Like doing something and buying a surprise, or getting someone a surprise, or creating a surprise for someone that I love truly. There's no better feeling than that. There's no better feeling than when a loved one is on a trip and then they come back and you see them again and they're safe. There's no better feeling. There's no better feeling than those feelings. Those are the feelings. So that is the energy that I am evolving to operate on, because that is what I seek in this experience. And that is what I'm feeling more and more. And it's a practice. Practice makes perfect. You have to work on these things because wherever you are is where you are. There's nothing wrong with where you are. And know that you don't have to stay there. And it's going to take some evolution. It's not necessarily going to take time because you don't know how long or short it's going to be, but it's going to take an evolutionary process. You're going to have to evolve, and you're going to have to make some changes. It might not take 3 years. It might not take 10,000 years, but you do know that it took a certain amount of years for you to get to where you are now. And so you know it's going to involve some level of evolving, some level of processing to get to where you want to be. Because you might be walking with a lot. You might be walking with parents that was whooping your tail left and right. You might be walking with someone who violated you and hands that you didn't want on you. You might be walking with stuff you didn't want to happen to you. Who knows what you are dealing with? But you are dealing with it. It happened to you and it was there. So it impacted you in some way. And it's not your fault that it impacted you. So you have to be able to let go of certain things because however it impacted you, you might have reacted in a horrible way. You might have made some horrible mistake because of you had some unresolved issues and trauma from another situation. And it's walking with you and you might not even realize it. But the moment you realize it, the moment you can recognize, oh man, that was not what I should have done, is the moment that you decide and determine, am I going to do it again? Or am I going to evolve past it and choose differently? Am I going to be very, very aware? And it takes one thing at a time. I'm going to be very, very aware of this specific deficiency that I have that caused me to make this mistake in the past, so that when it presents its head again, and it will, I can recognize it. And instead of having this thing happen to me for a month, instead of being depressed for a month, this time I'll be depressed for a couple weeks because that's still shorter than a month. The next time you get out of it, this time I'm going to be depressed for a week. This time I'm going to be depressed for a day. This time it'll be a couple hours. This time it'll be a couple minutes. This time it's not happening at all. This time it's a fleeting feeling. And this time, you know what? I've evolved so much past that I'm not even looking at it anymore. That's what the evolutionary process is. So there's no way to determine how long that's going to take or how much effort it's going to take because it depends on where you are. But you do know that it is possible. And every minute, moment is a new chance to do better next time. It's a new chance to recognize that perhaps this was not something that I should have done, but I did it. Okay, oh well, that's what happens. And now look what I can do better next time. Look at how I can grow better next time. Look at how I can have this happen better next time. That is proof. So instead of being upset and feeling down and guilty on yourself for something that you did in the past, recognize that it came from somewhere, okay? And that's a point where you need to be healing. Instead of beating yourself up about it, try to recognize what happened and what unhealed trauma are you walking with that caused you to do this thing? What unhealed baggage or what lesson didn't you learn? How many times do you have to listen to your instincts and leave before something happens to you that you realize that when your instincts say it's time to go, it's time to go? That's what you should be focused on. Focus on how you can improve, not how, blah, 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 I'm so bad for doing this thing. No, you're not. You're just who you are. You're not necessarily bad or good unless depending on circumstances. And though, instead of beating yourself up, which will make you worse, you can say, you know what, this thing happened, and remind yourself every time it comes up. I do it. I'm not saying that just because, you got to do this and you're so this. No, it's something that I'm working on. And so I feel like it's something that other people should be working on too. Because it's not helpful to beat yourself up. It's not helpful. But what is helpful and what does help you grow and evolve and move is recognizing that, oh, you know what? I messed up there and I'm not going to do it again. oh wow, I'm so happy that I survived this thing. So now I'm not going to do this thing again. I'm going to evolve and I'm going to move on past it. I'm not going to beat myself up about something, because now I know for a fact that I learned something. Now I know for a fact that I have improved. Now I know for a fact that there's something more to this experience. Now I know this for a fact that I can do better next time. I know for a fact that something can happen for me. I know I'm going to have this opportunity again. And when it presents itself, I'm going to respond differently. At some point, I'm going to be in this situation. So I'm going to do different.